you ready to kickstart your week with some dirt slinging and tire slaying action motorsports radio that packs the biggest gas?
Hi, Ken Block here.
Hey, my name's Jolene Van Butte.
What's up, Brian Deegan here.
Vaughn Ginn Jr. here.
They've been thrown into one show that has broken down the barriers of what a motorsports radio show should be. This is the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR, with support from General Tire, KMC Wheels, Dirtfish, Gibson Exhaust, and MTX Audio, with your host, who also happens to spend his weekends flying 800 horsepower trucks through the dirt, Jim Beaver.
When was the last time you saw an off-road or rally driver begging to get behind the wheel of a NASCAR IndyCar? Yep, not happening, but you sure see these pavement racers begging to drive our cars.
And his partner in crime every week, a self-proclaimed Canadian moto chick who was jumping triples and taking podiums before most guys even learned to ride, Amy Hood.
No one knows how to say my last name. Like, is it really that hard? Amy Hood, like I'm from the hood. Don't get it twisted.
Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to join us as we take you through a motorsports ride like no other. Here is the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other, Jim Beaver.
Good morning and welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, and I got to tell you, launching this show some days is like launching a spaceship, and I got all these checks and balances you got to do, and somehow, after 2 weeks being off, I completely have failed miserably at every single one of them. So, I don't know.
What do you mean?
No, like, the show is launched, we're good, but, 30 seconds to go, and I've got this stuff that should have been done 30 minutes ago, and I'm sitting here going, oh, crap, I didn't set the timer. Like, I've got this big clock running on an iPad hanging on a wall that syncs up with, the radio network and all this. Like, seriously, this stuff, I've been doing it for years, and I completely spaced it today. Probably because I spent 20 minutes on the phone with my partner in crime, Amy Hood, prior to going live.
Sorry.
But no, not your fault. I just totally spaced it. But anyways, fun show. We're kicking off 2017. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Dakar Rally just started. We got Supercross A1 this weekend. Man, it's going to be a good one. The first kickoff to the Best in the Desert race of the year. This is a UTV and motorcycle only race happening. We got Mitch Guthrie on the line, UTV World Champ, to chat on that. Joey D, Joe Duncan calling in with an X Games update.
And we have the first opening round of Monster Jam from Nashville that I will be racing in.
Yep. All that and more coming at you here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning RZR XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris RZRs to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris RZRs RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder R.J. Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
MTX Audio is the leader in sound. Whether you're looking for high-quality, all-weather motorsports audio products like soundbars, amplifiers, and speakers that will work on any UTV or motorcycle, need to dial in your car or home with high-performance audio solutions, or are looking for a new portable speaker or set of headphones, MTX Audio has what you need to get your project sounding as good as it looks. MTX Audio is a family-owned American manufacturer who has been in business for over 40 years. Check out the full line of products at mtx.com. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here. And before we get to things, got to do a little housekeeping here. Thanks to all of you over the holiday break who filled in and listened to Project Action on Podcast 1. Please go rate, review, subscribe over there on iTunes. Listen in. I re-aired my original episode with Ken Block, which is now a premium subscription episode. So that one you can now catch without having to pay over on Podcast 1. Full, uncut Travis Pastrana episode. Did a lot of cool stuff there. I know the Down and Dirty Radio Show with Travis. That one's getting a ton of downloads and hits. I myself just did a podcast with some boys at Impact Fuel. It was it's called the Sponsor Ridered Podcast. It just dropped. I'll post that to social media this week, but you can catch it on iTunes. Good stuff. I happened to volunteer Miss Amy Hood for an interview, and she doesn't even know it, but I'm booking interviews for you already, Hood.
Oh, yeah.
No, good people. So they got this new podcast, and I know we got a ton to talk about, but it's, you know how you always get hit up, I always get up, how do you get sponsored? How do you get sponsored? They literally started a podcast on sponsorship, right? And it's
my goodness.
No, and it's done really, really well. And so they asked me to be on this podcast, and I listened to them, and I go, all right, these guys are doing things right, you know. And I went on, and it was a really fun interview. I got to talk about some stuff I never get to talk about. They've never had a female athlete on the show, and he asked me if I knew anybody that would be good, and I said I happen to know somebody. So I'm going to hit you with an email sometime probably today and link you up with them, but I think they'd like to get you on on that podcast. I said, she is making her Monster Jam debut this week, so I'm sure this week is off, but maybe next week sometime she can fill it in. And they said, understandable. So speaking of that, you're going Monster Jam racing, Hood.
I am, Jim. Tomorrow I'm leaving at 6 in the morning, heading out to Nashville, Tennessee for my first round of the Monster Jam Triple Threat Central Tour. I can't wait. I don't really know how I feel right now. I'm kind of mixed emotions. I'm obviously extremely excited, but I'm nervous at the same time. Like I've had a month off, and that's a long time to not really be behind the wheel of a truck, razor, or ATV. So I'm really, I'm just kind of a little out of sorts. It's a lot different than motocross. I mean, before you train for nationals, you're in the backyard or at the local motocross track, just putting in laps and laps and laps. And with Monster Jam, it's a little bit different. It's I've been really training hard in the gym, as you can see by Instagram. I'll be straight flexing on there. But I'm so excited to just, for that first time I get to drive that truck in the arena full of like 15,000 people, waving at all the crowd. Like that's just I just can't wait. Like honestly, I'm so excited for that moment.
Yeah, well, I gotta say, like you and I, we've been friends for like 3 years, but you posted a picture, and you and I, we talk probably almost daily, whether it be text or phone call or something like that. But I gotta say, like in 3 years, you posted a picture to Instagram. I don't know if it was a couple days ago or what. You are ripped, Amy. Like seriously, are you? This has got to be some of the best shape of your life, right?
Yeah, no, like yes and no. I mean, I find this happy medium right now where, like I'm not training to look a certain way, and like that's what it used to be when I used to be with like fitness company. Was you train and you diet and blah blah blah, and you do it just to look a certain way. Like right now, I'm training. I train for go, not show. You know, I train to be an athlete and to be capable, but also to live a balanced lifestyle. I mean, if somebody asks me, like, oh, what kind of programs do I follow? Do I diet? Do I watch how to eat? Well, yeah, like I definitely make healthy choices. I try to eat well, and I make good choices. It's all about making good choices, but at the same time, I work out so I can eat whatever I want, so I can, have an adult beverage here and there, and I can, eat Chinese food or go for the endless pasta bowl at Olive Garden. Like, I don't want to deprive myself of things that make me happy, and so I really try to just have a good balance. So I work out really hard so that I can go and eat what I want. And then that also keeps me happy. Like, sometimes when you diet and just follow this crazy, regime, like, it ruins your life and you get miserable and unhappy. And I mean, for specific athletes, definitely. I mean, I understand the Ken Roxons and Ryan Denges who have a very strict program that they follow, but they're extreme elite, crazy elite athletes in their domains. So, for what I'm doing, like, I have to be extremely physically fit, I have to be in great shape, but I got to be happy, and I'm totally okay with that, and I think I'm in a good place.
Yeah. So I got to ask, so this Triple Threat Tour, obviously we know by now you're racing ATVs. I'm still going to call them Polaris Razors. You can be politically correct, but
Speedsters.
Yeah, no, I'm calling them Razors. You can call them Speedsters. Until Feld signs me, they're going to be called Razors from me. But no, and then you've got monster trucks. How does the format actually work? How does this all play out in front of the crowd? Because I know you're racing everything, but how does that play out? How's the format work?
So there's 7 different events, or I guess racing categories in the night. So we obviously open up with our opening ceremonies. All the trucks come out, wave to the crowd, rev it up, just the kids pumped up off their seats, show off all of our beautiful machines. And then we start the day off with, obviously, racing. So it's monster truck racing. And then we get out, we run to our speedsters, and then we do speedster racing. And then we run back to our truck, and we get ready for wheelies and donuts. And then unhook, we run into the pit area and get changed. So we swap out from our fire suit into motocross gear, and we hop on our ATVs for ATV racing. And then we have intermission. After intermission, we do, I believe it is the Speedster obstacle race. And then we ended off with, obviously, the best of the best is the monster truck freestyle. So, we do, it's seven different, races, 7 different events in the night, and it all works on a point system. So, I feel really confident in the ATVs. Like, in Monster Jam University, I won all the ATV racing. I definitely can hammer out some pretty sick wheelies. I love doing the wheelies. But you have to be consistent across all different events to be able to, point to win the championship of the night or to win the night show. Like, you can't suck at one thing and be good at everything else. Like, you have to be consistent across all. It's really, really challenging. So you really have to ride smart, play it safe, and really watch what everybody else is doing. So you learn a lot by, if there's one wheelie hit that, somebody just can't pop a good wheelie, or they flip the truck every time they hit it. Like, you got to be smart and watch what everyone else is doing, and then, kind of counter-react, and just, it's all about, it's not only being a great driver, but being extremely smart drivers. And I like that, because I think my lifetime of a racing background has really helped me, prevail in that way.
I still got to get on this tour. Somehow, I got to make this deal happen. I'm sitting here going, man, I still want to do this, right? Oh, man,
yeah,
you're going to have
it's going to be crazy. But I'm really more excited I'm excited for the pit parties, and I'm excited for the autograph signing after. Like, I'm stoked to meet all these fans. Like, the Monster Jam fans, they're incredible. They're such diehards. I mean, they're always decked out in head to toe, gear and swag and merchandise, and they always have their little trucks that they get from Target or Walmart, and it's so cool to see such dedicated fans. I really like it, and it's such an honor, and I really hope that I can do a great job of representing the zombie truck and just, really build up a fan base throughout this year by being my crazy wild self and, putting on great shows for the fans. And that's what my goal for this year is, to not just win the championship and make it to World Finals in Las Vegas in March, but to really just make a good impact for the fans and create a really loyal following my zombie nation.
Yeah, it's gonna be a ton of fun. I'm so looking forward to talking with you as soon as it's over with. Like, seriously, I want to know how round one goes. Like, if there was a way I could fly in for round one, I would still be there. Like, it would be so much fun to take it all in. But we got to take a short break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. When we come back, we got Mitch Guthrie Jr., UTV World Champ, Factory Polaris rider. He is on the line. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver joined here on the line by my good friend Mitch Guthrie Jr., UTV World Champ.
What's going on?
No, nothing. We can still call you UTV World Champ, at least until you got to defend it here in a couple months, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm holding that name as long as I possibly can.
Yeah, that was one hell of a deal, man. You almost had like a dual world championship. Like that was one of my noticeable races of the year. It was like the ones I remember. I've been to so many, but that deal was such a heartbreaker. And then for you to come back and win it again, anyways, it was just wow. Like yeah. That
was one of my best weekends of my entire racing career. So
I'm actually looking forward to the next one. Freaking ready to go for that. So
yeah. So what's
fun?
Yeah. So how about the off season? I mean, you've got your I know you guys have been doing a ton of prep on the turbo, making some changes. I know you said you got to do some testing. I mean, what have you changed? I know rules in turbo class have changed a bit. Finally, opening up the ECUs, which is good news for everybody. What have you guys been toying with this off season? I know 2017 engine. Are you retrofitting one into the chassis? Is that coming? I mean, what's going on here, buddy?
Yeah. So, I mean, they say it's an off season, but we really only have about a month. So it's, such a rush to get everything together. But we basically tore the car down to the chassis, got all the 2017 stuff in it. And, I mean, we're still finishing up the car right now, ready to go testing tomorrow or the next day. And then be out in Parker on Friday for tech contingency. So we've been rushing it just like everyone else has, but we're getting her done,
Yeah, it's crazy because there's like 1 month off season and 2 weeks of it is the holidays. So it's like, really, how much off season do you actually have? It's makes things a bit gnarly, kind of a thrash,
Yeah, but I think we're all used to it. With the whole racing thing, you don't really have any time off throughout the entire year. So, it's just one of those things you got to deal with. And I love racing, so it's not too bad for me.
Yeah, well, and congrats since last time we had you on air, because I guess you can officially call yourself a professional race car driver. Polaris signing you to you were with Polaris, but now you're like really with Polaris. So, you're actually, very few of us that are professional race car drivers, but dang, man, congrats on that.
Yeah, thank you. That's something I've been, wanting basically my entire life since my dad showed me racing when I was, 9 or 10, and I started. That's always something that I've been saying is I want to be a race car driver when I grow up, and to be able to actually say that is so cool. And without Polaris, obviously, none of this would have been possible. So it's so cool to just have them as a part of the team and be a part of the team now.
Yeah. So what have you guys learned? I mean, I know you last year was kind of your first year in the desert with this new desert program. And what did you guys learn last year you can, apply to this year? What kind of changes internally? Obviously, it was a big learning experience the whole season, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. It really was a tough season, but we kind of tried to make the most of it. And, building a desert car is just completely different than anything else we've ever done. So the amount of the learning curve with it was insane. Like every single race, we think we have a car dialed in, and then there's something new that we figure out or something that breaks. So, we had our good races. Vegas to Reno, we got a podium, and had our good races, but we had our bad races too. And I think we really are finally at that point where, we had the car for a year. We fine-tuned it so much, and I think we finally have it all dialed in. And, I'm really looking for a win here in Parker, hopefully. And, hopefully it should go well.
Yeah, you guys were on it last year out of the box, so you ran pretty strong at Parker, didn't you, if I remember right? You guys had a good run.
Yeah, Parker, I actually started somewhere, and by like the second lap there, I was in, I think, second on the track and maybe first on time, but had a couple issues, of course, as always, and then, that one slipped away. But we ended up getting, fifth or something. So, Parker was a fun race last year. I'm looking forward to this one. It's really fast track, and, it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, and Parker's always an interesting one, too. Well, I mean, it's people think it's really, really fast because of the graded sections, but the course gets so gnarly, especially the Jeep Trail and some of that. Like, it just gets so chewed up, and people, like, they'll come out weeks before and pre-run and go, oh, this is cakewalk, man. It's so smooth, and there's all these graded roads, and then you get, after lap one, it's like, oh, man, what was I thinking, man? This, the attrition just goes through the roof. It's just,
Yeah, especially with, there's so many cars racing now, the turbo class and the production class. There's so many cars out there that, after one lap, even with 40, 50, 60 cars going through it, the track is just demolished. So I think that's something you really got to look for. Every single race is how many cars are out there, and it could look awesome when you pre-run, but it's going to change a lot for sure.
Yeah, well, and that being said, man, all the turbo cars coming in too. Like last year, turbo class, started out at Parker, and it was a handful. I mean, it was a strong field, but now it's like so many guys coming from the NA class up to Turbo, and now you got, Cognito. They've been working for a year on their car. Gosh, I mean, I wish, I wish I had a year of development on a car before I actually had to race it. It's like, told Lambert, like, dude, you kind of backed yourself into a corner, man. You got to win out of the box, or you kind of, if anybody can do it,
can get something done.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's just, now I'm looking at it. What, Robbie Gordon's coming in. I mean, it's everybody wants to be in UTV racing, man.
No, yeah, seriously, it's cool to see, like you said, Robbie, but there's a lot of other people, big names that are
Reese
coming
Millen,
into it. I mean, yep, Jim Beaver.
Yeah, yeah. We got something in the works. We're working on it. Hopefully, at the Mint, we'll be able to.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, we'll be able to unleash something. I don't know. It's funny you mentioned that, though, because I haven't been super public. I guess I'm letting a little bit out of the bag, but we started on this build, right? And man, like you said, it's been a while since I built a desert car from the ground up, and most people think race cars, and they're like, oh, but like with a desert car, there's so much you have to put into it that you wouldn't for like a works car or something like that. Like there's people, I think people don't realize what actually goes into a desert build. I'm sitting here ordering parts, and it's like, man, I forgot about that. Man, I forgot about that. Man, I forgot about that. And then you watch the build just start stacking up. It's like, oh yeah.
That's kind of was our deal last year. Is luckily we had Lone Star build our car, and they're an awesome company, and they've done a lot of race cars, for desert racing. So they knew a lot of what we needed. So it was cool to be able to just go there and say, these are the little things we want you to do to the car and everything. And then we had a really awesome car out of the box. So it was cool to have them build it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at. Like we have the capability to build a car in house, in our race shop, and I was like, this UTV stuff it's a little out of my wheelhouse, man. Like, we can build trophy trucks, but I don't know that I could necessarily build a competitive UTV. So, I did the same thing. I went to, my buddy James Hill at IMG, and I've got some ideas in my thought process to kind of apply to things, but it was one of those things. I went with a reputable builder, and I was just, it was one of those things where I didn't want to attempt to even tackle it, because it's just, I don't know, there's so much in UTVs that people don't think about. It's, they're really remarkable for what they do, but there's a lot that goes into them. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I like to leave it to the guys that really know what they're doing and have done it before.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta ask you guys. Obviously, kicking things off with Parker. Then we got the Mint after that. In between is King of the Hammers, man. And your dad seems to be king around those parts. And the one year he wasn't king, he was damn close. I mean, what's the word? You guys back at Hammers?
Yeah, we will be back there, and it hasn't been super official, but I think this year the Prince might be coming for the King, I've heard. So we'll be seeing on that one.
So you going to run a 2-car effort then, it sounds like?
Yes, it does. It does seem like we're leaning that way. So
nice.
It'll be interesting to watch the Prince take down the King.
Yeah, well, I got to say, your dad's kind of put himself into a spot then, because his longtime co-driver being you, he's taught you everything he knows, and now he's going to have to find a new co-driver, and here you are taking all his secrets into your program. So
exactly. I think he wasn't really planning on that from the start, but it turned into me slowly learning everything, and then now I'm coming for him. So it's not very nice to do to him, but, I want to win too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, man. I'm feeling for your dad right now. Like, I seriously am. I'm like, man, I think you got the momentum in your court, man. It's gonna be fun. But so are you guys having to build a second complete car for Hammers then?
Yep. Yeah. Add to our busy schedule, and every year we end up finishing the car a few days before King of the Hammers, and this year we're going to do 2. So twice the amount of work, a lot less time, but we're gonna get her done, of course, like always.
Yeah. Well, and are you guys? I mean, I know even like with desert builds, it's like, it seems like every year and at least every 2 years you're having to build a new desert build to keep up with the class, right? I mean, Hammers. Mm-hmm. I mean, how is it there? I mean, horsepower isn't necessarily, key over there at Hammers, but are you guys having to build a new car pretty much every year to stay on top of things?
Yeah, exactly. Every year we are, and, every year the cars are changing that little bit. So, we go from 2016 to 2017, and now we got a little more horsepower, which isn't huge at the Hammers, but, you want every little bit you can have. So we'll be building 2 new 2017s. And, it's a lot of work. Every single year we got to do it, but there's always those, like desert racing, there's always those little things you learn. So you got to keep up with the curve, and same thing with King of the Hammers is you got to do the same deal and build a new one and learn as much as you can every year.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the same thing, with Hammers. It seems like a lot of the guys, even a guy like Robbie Gordon, he's going and running a UTV at Hammers instead of an actual, something for King of the Hammers. And it's just crazy the names you see that are dropping in the desert and King of the Hammers into UTV racing. It's just, I don't know, it's mind-blowing to me. It's
yeah, that's another one. Desert racing is huge, and also races like King of the Hammers, those big ones that, are once a year. That's where you see a lot of big names, and it's cool. I mean, there's so many people that are joining this movement of the UTV racing, and it's cool to see.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, Mitch. We got to take a short break here, but good luck this weekend. I'm sure I'll see you out here on Friday for sure, huh?
All righty. Yeah, we'll see you out there. Cool. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mitch. Take it easy, buddy.
See ya.
All right. See ya. And we're going to take a short commercial break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When RJ Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning RZR XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris RZRs to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris RZRs RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound of the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here. Amy Hood is on a short break in the middle of a blizzard. That's why she wasn't on air in the last segment. But I'd like to welcome my next guest, my good friend Joey D from UTV Underground to the line. And I was thinking back, Joey, I think when I started this show, we just had our 5th anniversary. You were like one of the first maybe 4 or 5 guests I ever had on the show, dude. Like, you've been around with us since day one, man. You're like OG homie here.
Yeah, go figure that. I'm the OG now, you know. I used to be just the guy that ran around chasing golf carts, and now I'm the OG.
Yeah, you're like the kingpin of this industry or something, man. Like, no, you're definitely one of the cogs that keeps this whole UTV movement moving, dude. And I have a lot of respect for you, man. I think without what you and UTV Underground have done, I mean, we've seen a massive explosion, but you guys have really been a catalyst for a lot of it, man. And it's definitely a tribute to what you guys have been able to do.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, it's been a lot of hard work, and I think when I launched UTV Underground in 2009. You know, I had no idea where this sport was going. I wasn't a website guy that was like, oh, I'm going to launch a website in this new, fast emerging market. I mean, I was just...
You there?
And share our build.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got me, Jim?
Yeah, I cut out for a second, but we're good now.
Yeah, I drove through a dead spot. Sorry about that. But,
no worries.
But yeah, we when we launched UTV Underground, I don't think there was any, at least kind of foresight that the sport would feel like it did.
Yeah. You there, Joey?
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it keeps cutting out, man.
Yeah, I'll get through this road here, and I should clear up for you.
Okay, no worries, man.
Apologize. We're running around here. We're getting ready. We're bouncing between XP1K4 and preparing for the 2017 race season. So I'm playing parts runner right now.
Yeah, you guys we're only a couple weeks out from XP1K. It was like I kept thinking, I'm like, man, I ought to kick off the year with RJ. And I'm like, can't kick off it with RJ because in 2 weeks I'm going to have him back on, I know, for some XP1K talk or something. So, yeah, looks like it's going to be insane. That's another thing. You guys have kind of created a monster there where you got to keep one-upping yourselves, and you literally, I mean, you got to keep one-upping yourselves, man, and it's like, where's the limit, you know?
Yeah, it's not easy. I can tell you that. I mean, this one's been a real challenge in the sense that, you know, we know that the viewers expect us to go bigger in areas, you know, and, you know, puts the pressure on us to be creative and, you know, at the same time, continue to push the envelope and play make sure that the other guys who are trying to introduce their own versions of XP1K, you know, have a pretty high standard to meet, you know. So, obviously the Mad Media guys are the best in the sport, and RJ is definitely the most talented driver we've ever worked with, and he continues to get better, and the machines continue to get better. So this one's really fun. Actually, it's being filmed less than 10 minutes away from where I live. So it's close, and it's close for all of us. So we're not having to do this massive company move across the United States or somewhere crazy like we've had to do in the past. So that's kind of nice. But, you know, being here in Southern California, you figure we'd be able to bang this shoot out and have perfect weather. But this is worse than when we were in Washington. We've had nonstop rain here in SoCal, so it's been real tricky for us to get the stunts, you know, done because, you know, we're moving a lot of dirt around and a lot of equipment. So it's been a challenge, but it's going to be badass. You guys know that we're going to come through and deliver, and RJ's already been laying down some pretty badass stuff.
Yeah, RJ lays down badass stuff in his sleep. Like sometimes I'll be somewhere with him and he'll do something. It's like even when he was running Terracross 2 years ago, like he just show up and he hits stuff. Like, you know, he just throws his helmet on and hits stuff, and, you know, and triple stuff that most people are doubling without ever even taking a sighting lap, you know, and things like that. Like, it just, his talent, especially in UTVs, is just second to none, and it's, you know, it's the truth. I mean, there's a reason why, you know, he's become the face of the UTV industry, and it's because the talent's there, you know. You know, there's a lot of hype around him, but, man, he owns the hype. Like, seriously, it's, you know, he backs it up. It's crazy.
Yeah, he backs it up, and, I mean, you know, people talk about perfect timing with when we launched UTV Underground and everything, and it was. I mean, we didn't know what we were doing, but it was perfect timing, but perfect timing for a guy like RJ to be growing up and, and going through his prime, where he's still fearless, and no kids and no mortgage payment and all that good stuff that you got to worry about when you get older. He's able to go out there and just throw it down and have fun. And it's not just him, it's his whole crew, it's his little brother, Ronnie, and his buddy, Doug Matag, and that whole circle. Those guys just push each other. And it feels a lot like the freestyle motocross era, back in the early 90s, right? When the Metal Militia was, first getting rolling and thriving and pushing each other. And that's kind of what these kids are. Maybe not on as big of a scale, but that's what it feels like to me, having grown up through both of these now,
Yeah, well, and I think, too, this past year, like, even Shelby Anderson, she came into her own. I mean, it was the year of Shelby, she the girl just, I think there was a ton of talent there, and we saw glimpses of it in 2015, but 2016, man, she put her stamp on the industry. It's like, hey, look, I'm here, and I can compete with the guys, and, bring it, and the Andersons, man, they're special. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, they can all hammer down, and a lot of it's attributed to the way that they've all been brought up. There's a strong work ethic. They understand what it takes to build a race car, to make the car live, and they've got great support from their parents. Shelby with her dad, Rod, that guy, will walk through hell and back for his daughter and make sure she's got all the right equipment, and he believes in her and she believes in herself. And to see Shelby go out there and do what she did this year was really fun for all of us. It's always great to watch not just the younger ones, go out there and prove themselves and find success, but, especially her as a female playing in a boys sport. So that was really cool. It was great to see Shelby do so well this year.
Yeah. Well, speaking of 2017, dude, we got to switch gears a bit. We got Best in the Desert opener this weekend, and I know you've been highly involved with our boy Craig Scanlon's program. I mean, we got Cognito coming in with their new turbo car. I don't know, Robbie Gordon's got something, whether, there's a gray area there on what exactly he's bringing to the table. But, man, 2017, it's on the verge of exploding, man.
Yeah, 17's going to be an exciting year. Every year we wonder if we've kind of topped out, if car counts are going to continue to grow. And race in and race out, the car counts continue to exceed the counts from the race prior. So we're still on a trajectory here, which is crazy to think, that we can go beyond 60, maybe 70 cars in a class in desert racing. So that's exciting for us. All the things that you've just touched on, obviously the CMO of Polaris himself, Craig Scanlon, moving into his own program. That's big news around the sport, not just because of who he is. People might not know, but Craig had been, racing with the Jagged X team for the past, 4 or 5 seasons. But Craig came out in a big way around. He comes out and he's representing some big brands.
Yeah. You there, buddy? Cut out again. Hello?
Yeah, you got me?
Yeah, we got you. Chime back in there,
Sorry
buddy.
about that.
Yeah.
I apologize about that.
No worries, man. But, yeah, Craig,
But
you talk about that, and you talk about Polaris, and, they're another one that's been a catalyst around this industry, and keeping things rolling. And I think a lot of people have been like, I wonder how long this is going to last. They're just trying to cash in, and they'll be out. And, I've been in some meetings back in Minnesota, and I'm sure you've been in a lot of meetings and talk with them. I know their commitment with, with some of their drivers and things like that. This is a long-term commitment to this sport. It's not like they're cashing out in a year or something like that. Seeing what they've got in motion, there's I don't see an end in sight, and I think a lot of people looked at it as a short-term industry, and I think now we're learning this industry is going to be around and it's going to stick here for a long time.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere soon. There are a lot of naysayers over the past couple of years that have said, it's going to be like the ATC or the quad. It's only here until the next big thing. But I don't think some of those guys don't understand the gravity of these vehicles and the reach they have. It's not just a race vehicle. It's not just a sport recreational vehicle. It's a hunting machine. It's a work and farm machine. It's everything. So it's spread out across so many different genres that, you know, I don't see how this type of vehicle ever goes away, you know. And right now we're in the middle of one of the most exciting manufacturer OEM battles that we've ever seen in power sports or in off-road for that matter.
Yeah.
So to see Can-Am and Polaris head-to-head like they are right now, literally trying to one-up one another and beat each other, not just on paper with horsepower and suspension, but, you know, for championships and race wins. I mean, dude, it's exciting, you know. So you don't even have to like the sport or own one of these golf carts to understand, you know, how special it is right now to have these OEMs literally fighting for race wins, championships, sales, and who can build the biggest, baddest machine. It's pretty cool, especially for guys like us who live and breathe the sport.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's just mind-blowing, you know, and I think the biggest thing, I think, and guys are starting to be aware of what's going on, but for the longest time there was kind of an elitist trophy truck attitude, you know, and it was just the UTVs are just kind of over there, right? And, you know, and people always said, oh, we don't have any factory involvement in off-road and this and that. And now I think people are awakening to it, going, man, like we do have factory involvement, and they're spending a lot of money, and this racing's legit. I mean, UTVs now, they're starting to beat classes that, you know, people thought was unheard of, you know, and they're starting to outrun Class 10 cars at certain races and things like that, you know, and I think the rest of the off-road community has caught on to, wow, this movement is coming, and it's coming fast.
Yeah, I mean, we went from being the fat chick to being the hot chick that everyone wants to date. You know, I mean, that's just the reality of it, is that now it's the cool thing to do. And that's awesome. That's what we strive for. You know, in the beginning, I worked my butt off to try and build the credibility in the sport. It was important for me to get guys like BJ Baldwin into a Razor at the time. Now he's in a Can-Am. Get Bryce Menzies involved, you know, and so on and so forth. You know, a lot of other people, not just to hook them up and because they're our friends, but to help build credibility for the sport. Because we knew once other people saw those guys also running around in side-by-sides, that they would, you know, the wall would kind of drop a little bit, and they'd stop having to act so cool that, you know, these are just, you know, overpriced golf carts, and they're not what they really are, which are badass off-road vehicles, you know, that you can go down and finance for half the price of what you pay for a truck, you know. So it's pretty, you know, it's one of those things. Like I've obviously now lived through this whole transition of when we were the ugly guys and the people no one wanted to deal with, and, you know, everyone talked down on, and then now everybody wants to be involved. And, you know, some people want to be involved because they see the dollar signs, but I think a lot of people want to be involved because they realize the fun factor. Yeah. They realized everything we have been enjoying over these past few years and promoting and preaching about them. So people have just kind of come around now. So, and it's cool. It's badass. I mean, we're growing a segment faster than anything else in off-road. The only thing that can really kind of compare to it right now is the Jeep. I'll talk about that. You know, I'm proud to be on this journey with this industry and this segment of off-road vehicles, and it's something that I'll be able to look back on and know that I was a part of making a little bit of history in this sport.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate the time, Joey. You know, always a pleasure, buddy, and I'm sure we'll see you. You gonna come? You gonna be out here at Parker to take in the first race?
Yeah, we'll be out there. We're gonna come out and do our thing. You know, cover the desert race and, you know, hang out with all the racers and, you know, kind of get our game plan together for the rest of 17 and all the different events and stuff we've got on the plate to go hit. You know, we're going not just bigger and better with XP1K and everything else. We've got some big plans for UTV Underground this year. So it's kind of an odd race for us. It's like, I feel like 16 just ended, you know? So it's like we get to this race and then we've got a nice break between now and the Mint. So it's kind of like, let's get through the Parker 250 and then we can kind of get our bearings and get really ready to rock and roll for 17. But thanks for everything you do, Jim. Thanks for giving me the time to jump on here and talk crap with you. And Keep charging on your end. Look forward to see your new top secret, razor killer machine that you got being built.
Yeah, we'll have to chat this weekend, buddy, and bring you in the loop on some stuff when you're out here for sure.
Sounds good, man. We'll see you this weekend. Thanks again.
All right, take it easy, brother.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, that was Joey D with UTV Underground. We'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When RJ Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Don't miss Hotel California, the country's most highly acclaimed salute to the Eagles, performing live Saturday, January 28th, inside the showroom at the Blue Water Resort and Casino. These multi-talented musicians will deliver a dynamic and exciting show of timeless music. Doors open at 5. Show starts at 6 p.m. Arizona time. General admission just $20, or VIP tickets only $35. Tickets on sale now.
Honey, they're giving away $10,000 in cash every Saturday in January at the Blue Water Resort and Casino.
Oh, yeah, I heard. I can earn entries just by playing my favorite machines and then be here on Saturdays for the drawings every half hour starting at noon.
And at 6 p.m., one person will win the $7,777 grand prize barrel drawing.
$10K every Saturday. See the club for details.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
MTX Audio is the leader in sound. Whether you're looking for high-quality, all-weather motorsports audio products like sound bars, amplifiers, and speakers that will work on any UTV or motorcycle, need to dial in your car or home with high-performance audio solutions, or are looking for a new portable speaker or set of headphones, MTX Audio has what you need to get your project sounding as good as it looks. MTX Audio is a family-owned American manufacturer who has been in business for over 40 years. Check out the full line of products at mtx.com. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, just getting done with Mitch Guthrie Jr. and my buddy Joey D from UTVUnderground.com. And, man, he's a solid, rock-solid dude, and I know Joey in the past, like I said, he's been around the show. He started his website a little bit before we started this show, and, yeah, it's been a heck of a ride, that's for sure, man. Kind of growing our respected brands. I guess pretty close to along the same trajectory. He's done super well. A lot of corporate sponsorship over there. We've done pretty well ourselves. So definitely always fun catching up with Joey, seeing what he's up to. Obviously, RJ Anderson's XP1K. That's incoming here really, really quick. I think it's the 17th, right around Winter X Games time, man. We're gonna have a lot to talk about. Winter X, XP1K. Got my top secret project we're working on. So, yeah, it's definitely gonna be be a fun ride. January's going to be busy. Normally it's dead time here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, but that is definitely not the case today. So we're going to be back after this here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. We got Joe Duncan coming up here in hour number 2 shortly. We're going to be talking some snow bike racing, some Winter X, and a whole lot more as he kind of gets everything, the wheels churning there for Winter X Games and the debut of snow bike racing. But I want to talk a little bit, kind of cap off our UTV preview of the year that we've been doing so far, but talk a bit about the entry list here for the Best in the Desert. It used to be called Parker 250, now it's been called Winter Nationals. But looking down this entry list, it's pretty crazy. Easiest way to put it, man. The way they do it's like top 10 finishers from the previous event start out as the top 10 for this one. I kind of disagree with that, at least for the first event of the year. I'm okay with it for the rest of the year, but the first event of the year, I think it kind of sucks, mainly because it's a new year, man. Start out fresh. I think they ought to do a draw for the first race of the year. But, the top 10, you got Lambert on the pole in his new turbo. That's deadly. Sims in second. You got Murray, Carver, and Schuler's in there, Guthrie Jr., and then, looking down at Pro Turbo class, like, seriously, you got Craig Scanlon, his new ride. Thing is insane. Mark Burnett, he's got a new ride with Brand X. Lucretia Burrier, she's moving up to Turbo. Cool to see her there. Katie Vernola, Robbie Gordon right behind Katie Vernola. Ooh, that's going to be tough there, Katie. I think they may start side by side. Matt Burrows, he's got a new ride with Brand X. Shaw, he's a bad, tough draw for him. But, some of those big names, and then, some of them are, I guess UTV, big names in the UTV industry. And then, you're looking down the list of the, the naturally aspirated cars, and just a solid list there as well. It's just, man, I'm just looking down this. It's pretty mind-boggling, man. It's got short course racers there, and Sims look like he's going to be pulling double duty. So, anyways, a big event this weekend in Parker. Make your way out here. I know we're going to have first ever UTV Pit Crew Challenge going down as well. So, lots of fun stuff coming your way this weekend. I'll try and do some live streamings with my cell phone or my on my Facebook Live if I can this weekend. But definitely a lot of good stuff coming your way. So, we're going to be back with Joe Duncan here after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, waiting on my buddy Joe Duncan to call in. Joe seems like man is always busy, and seems like he's generally, past couple of weeks, seems like he's been a little slow on the draw for some reason. So, sending him a text right now, put him on the spot. But, it's definitely been a fun holiday break for me. I know I spent some time up in Minnesota. It was kind of crazy because I'm trying to think. I think we did. I went up. I was in Minnesota like twice in a matter of 3 days. Like flew from Arizona to Minnesota, hosted the X Games Snowbike Qualifier. Amazing. They've actually a lot of the guys that won there and finished kind of in the podium. Some of the guys, not necessarily big name guys, but they did really well. They put them in X Games, I think, a tip of the cap to X Games for sure. Then I flew back to Arizona Sunday night, did the radio show with Travis Pastrana that week, did a podcast, and Wednesday flew back to Minnesota for the holidays and for my birthday. Spent I think 8 days in Minnesota. And then flew back to Arizona for New Year's. And here I am, getting ready for the opening round of Best in the Desert here in my hometown. Makes things a little bit nice. And I'm doing some podcasting on the side. So thanks to all of you who have kind of been double dipping and taking in both shows, trying to do things a little bit different over there. It's a different feel format. You get just about anybody on air. But much appreciated. We're doing really, really well on iTunes. Kind of crazy. Trying to keep the interviews different. Sometimes there's an overlap, especially with Pastrana when we go so long in the national show. You can't fit it all in. So we take like an hour-long interview and kind of air it uncut over there. But good times. And speaking of good times, my friend Joe Duncan, he is calling in. How's everything going, Joe?
Hi, Jimmy. How's it going?
Doing well, buddy. Doing well. I know you are, man, you got a busy January. I know you and I got some projects in the works, and X Games, man, that's the big one. When are you flying up there?
I'm heading down the last week of January there, probably like the 18th, 19th, to be out in Aspen. We're actually up here back at ERX Motor Park, and we have Axel Hodges and Ronnie Feist up here training, and actually we got guys all over the country getting ready for X Games. We've got a bunch of the top snowcross guys here, Henches and Jutniks and Carlson Motorsports all out here, all getting ready for what we call X Games in Aspen.
Yeah, it's man, it's I don't know, Aspen. It's going to be big. I mean, not only the snowcross things, bringing in snow bikes. I mean, you mentioned Feist and Hodges. This is two big name guys in their own right, but man, it's X Games. They're kind of all in the snow bike movement, and adding keeping snowcross there. It's kind of become like the winter motorsports festival.
Yeah, it's going to be big. Lots of excitement. Adding the snow bike has opened up a whole new world of potential partners for X Games as well as for us. And the whole reason why we're here is our Terracross efforts. With these guys all coming out and seeing what we're doing and how we're doing it, they're these guys are talking coming to play with you at Terracross next year.
Would definitely be a ton of fun. Feist, he knows how to play in some Terracross. I did pretty solid here 2 years ago.
Yeah, he's coming back, and Jackson Strong, I think, is coming to play with us, and a couple of these other guys now. We're talking to Axel, and we'll see who else will come and rip the Polaris Razors with us.
Yeah, it should be a good year for Terracross, and I know last year it was kind of a weird year. Kind of everything kind of got started late in the season. I mean, it was early in the season for Terracross. I mean, it's a fall sport, but I know this year you're planning on kind of spreading things out a bit, having some Terracross experiences and things like that, kind of sprinkled in throughout the year, right?
Yep. We got some different events and shows that have actually come to us, and they want, obviously, Terracross events there. And some of them, are big enough where we can bring the Terracross CBS Sports Television show there, and some of them aren't quite there yet, and we're working with them on, like you said, a Terracross experience, or maybe we bring in one class or a combo of a couple of classes to come put on a show, and they've got some big crowds at these places, and yeah, it's getting pretty exciting.
Yeah. What are the odds we get them to build like a full-blown razor track there at ERX Motor Park?
Odds are high. There's lots of stuff happening right now with some events that are going on here in the summer, and this is where Terracross started.
Yeah.
Our first event ever, right when the Razor 1000s were ready to be released. Terracross ran the first race with them right here at ERX Motor Park.
Yeah, and man, have we come a long way since then. I mean, just the UTV industry, Terracross as a whole, man, things have been ramping up quick for everyone. I just had Joey D from UTV Underground and Mitch Guthrie on to start out the show, and both of them, man, it's just crazy. I mean, you got a kid like Mitch Guthrie Jr. who's a phenomenal athlete, and he's getting paid to be a professional race car driver because he's doing it in Polaris Razors, and to me, that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Mitch has been with us for quite a few years. Last year, unfortunately, he couldn't make it with some other commitments, but it sounds like they're coming back and some others, and we're starting to get that itch with some info that's going to be released. We signed 3 or 4 racers here right before the new year, so ended 16 on a super high note, and we're actually getting ready to kick off 17 on a bigger note. We've got some great meetings coming up in California, as well as 2 or 3 other places around the country with potential big name partners that have approached us, and excited about some announcements that'll be coming out over the next probably 90 days or so.
Yeah, it should be one heck of a run for you guys, man. Wintertime, I mean, you're a snow guy. You're like a sledhead, man, but you're full on in the UTV movement at this point in time, right?
Yeah, we haven't stopped actually with wrapping up Terracross from last year. We went right back into it. I had meetings within 30, 40 days of our last event last year. I know you voiced over the shows and saw the shows. Those last couple of shows were so good. That show 12, I think they've aired it like 4 or 5 times now, and we're sharing that with everybody because it kind of gives a little bit of the history of Terracross and what Terracross is about. and it's really opened some doors. We actually have one female racer and one male racer that saw us on TV, and they've signed up to come on board with Terracross for next year and bought a race package.
That's some good return on your investment there, Joe Duncan. That's what you like to see, right?
That's what we do it for.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, well, I think some of those shows, I think it was the Crash episode, I think you single-handedly reinvigorated the career of Jimmy Blaze just by that one show there, Joe.
It's always interesting. We actually have some backflipping racers coming to Terracross this year, so there'll be some more announcements about that, and as well as a stunt show, racer stunt show coming as well. So all kinds of things being added to the show for Terracross this year.
Yeah, well, I know even talking with Travis Pastrana, I mean, I know like he wasn't able to make it work last year, but I know Terracross, it's there in his brain. Like, I mean, his wheels are moving on when he can possibly get out and run the series and come play with us. So,
well, hopefully Travis and Lindsay are going to come race with us. I was talking with Robbie Madison as he's in the X Games for Winter X for snow bikes, and we're trying to get him and Amy, his wife, to come race Terracross, and he's super excited. So we're going to talk about it more out at Winter X and see what we can put together. And yeah, we're going to have a fun group of pretty talented athletes there for our season this year.
Yeah, sounds like it's going to be a good one, Joe. Well, we're going to take a short break here, Joe. Appreciate the time calling in, and we'll have you back next week to talk some more. I guess the X Games getting closer, and I know you and I got some projects. Hopefully we can bring them in the loop on here in the next week or two. So,
okay. Thanks, Jimmy.
All right, thanks a lot, Joe. And we're going to take a short commercial break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. We come back, it's Dakar and Supercross. Lots to talk about. It's going to be fun. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty Radio Show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered, packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
Honey, they're giving away $10,000 in cash every Saturday in January at the Blue Water Resort and Casino.
Oh, yeah, I heard. I can earn entries just by playing my favorite machines and then be here on Saturdays for the drawings every half hour starting at noon.
And at 6 p.m., one person will win the $7,777 grand prize barrel drawing.
$10K every Saturday. See the club for details.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
The The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here. Amy Hood should be chiming back in at some point in time here very, very quickly. She's caught in a blizzard up there at Winnipeg, and she's trying to, make her way to the airport at some point in the next 24 hours so she can fly out and do some Monster Jam racing. So I guess a little bit of weather difficulties up there in Winnipeg. So we will definitely be joined by her very, very soon. But switching gears, do want to give a shout-out to Dale Earnhardt Jr. getting married very recently. And I know we don't talk NASCAR on the show much, but he's one of my favorite drivers. I actually read his book from his rookie season, and boy, that man, he liked to party back in the day. But it was definitely a good book, and I've been a fan of his for a long time, and carries himself well, and one hell of a race car driver. But big shout out to him. Congrats on that. During the off season, it's time to talk a little Dakar Rally, though. I know we haven't talked much about it this year, but, this year, that's the first episode of the year. Yeah, we haven't talked much about it this year, right? We haven't talked a lot about it even last year, kind of previewed things and stuff like that, and it's got a kind of a weird feel for me this year. Planet Robbie, if you guys haven't been there, Planet Robbie is basically Robbie Gordon's website, but it's like a fan site. They've got a forum. They've got a massive following there. It's really a cool website if you like things Robbie Gordon Stadium Super Trucks, right? But it's got a cool forum. They do a really cool Supercross live chat. They probably have 90 or 100 people live chatting during the Supercross events. Sometimes less, sometimes more. But really cool fan base to just live chat through Supercross and stuff like that. So I generally chime in there when I get the chance. But they've started a petition like Robbie Gordon Dakar 2018 to get him back, right? And we all know why he left this year. I think it was the right decision. Obviously, he had the Gordini, a tremendous race vehicle. I've had the opportunity to co-drive with Robbie in and out testing for quite some time, and his capabilities are just maddening with that thing. But it did have its shortcomings, and obviously did find the successes that he wanted with it. So he decided to pull out, kind of regroup. I mean, running Dakar, we're talking millions and millions and millions of dollars. Definitely a tough road to go, especially when you're struggling like he was. I mean, he was still a front runner, but it wasn't enough to get over that hump, right? So he pulled out this year. I tend to fully support him on that. I think it was the right decision to do, but it seems like we've got some Americans running there, but it's not the same, it just, I don't know, there's something that Robbie brought to the table, and I know, I'm sure viewership in the United States through TV and everything else is probably going to be lower, and we don't have BJ Baldwin this year. He's gone a few times. I know I reached out to my buddy Ryan Arciero, who's run Dakar. We were going to have him on the show this week. He's in Colorado, so we're going to have him on next week, but I'm sure he can talk about Dakar. We're going to follow this the Dakar journey along the next couple of weeks, and hopefully afterwards we'll get, some of the winners on air. So I guess the lone American, I could be wrong. Maybe there's somebody else snuck in, but we do have Ricky Brabeck You guys know him from Score and Baja, and he's factory Honda. Boy is definitely won quite a few races. Knows how to ride. Through stage one, he is currently second in the bikes. Only about 12 seconds back to Juan Pedro Garcia, who's leading. So the lone American doing solid. This was yesterday. Day 2 is currently underway. I don't have current stage times or anything like that for stage number 2. Stage number 1 is rolling. Or is finished, and then we've got my good friend Toby Price. A lot of us in America. He spends a lot of time here. Australian Toby Price won Dakar last year. We've had him on the Down and Dirty Radio Show in the past. He's down there in like 17th. It's only a minute back though. Stage 1, it's a short stage, kind of a weird stage. Yeah, it's like less than 30 minutes. He's a minute back. I mean, nothing to be alarmed about after stage 1. But Toby Price, he's definitely a perennial favorite to take the Dakar, obviously coming off his win. And so, I guess those are two maybe the Americans are rooting for. I know Bryce Menzies was supposed to race. Him and Pete Mortensen, he'd been training all year long to be able to do Dakar. I mean, he was even on the entry list. And having to withdraw, he's not down there, obviously, from his social media. He's parked in Vegas at his home. So obviously he's not racing. But Bryce Menzies, that would have been another one I think the off-road community really would have got behind. And we were behind it. But him not going down there was definitely kind of a bummer, right? So car and trucks, I don't know who I'm pulling for quite yet, but looking at our rankings through the first stage, it was Nasser Al-Attiyah out front. Nasser, he raced with Robbie Gordon a few years in the past, and he was one of those kind of quit when he knew he didn't have a chance to win after a break, and I don't know, it was kind of a weird deal, but Nasser, definitely a good competitor. He's an Olympian, races WRC. The dude knows how to drive, let's just put it that way. Pons in second, Nanny Roma in third. Another guy, he's a perennial front runner and guy you expect to see up there. In the Peugeot, lead Peugeot is Carlos Sainz. I should mention that Pons was in a Ford. Sebastian Loeb, he's sitting there in sixth. Janelle De Villiers in fifth. Cyril Dupree in eighth in another Peugeot. We got Mikko Hirvonen in a Mini. Sitting there in ninth. So, I don't know. Terranova, he's another guy that can win. Petter Hansel, we know Petter Hansel can win. He's sitting there in 12th. And remember, this is a short stage, so these guys are all grouped within like a minute or two of each other. So it's not like anybody has really pulled away yet, and is running away with this thing. But, it's just I love Dakar, man. There's something about it this time of year. It's a proper way to kick off the year. And I know UTVs, they've actually got their own, their own, quote, official division, and only a handful of them. I'd love to go race a UTV at Dakar. I mean, I think that'd be a ton of fun, right? It looks like a total of 10 UTVs. I don't know, we got Carnell in first and second and some Suzukis. I don't quite know what they're racing. Might be a homebrew deal, something like that. But got a couple Polaris there in third, followed by a couple of Yamahas and then some more Polarises. No Can-Ams, no Cats, nothing like that. So, I don't know. Dakar is just tremendous. Obviously, it airs on television. You can follow along online. I'm looking at live. See if we can pull up some live timing. It's kind of tough to read. You got to make sure you're on the U.S. site, right? Or the English site, because they have this site in so many different languages. But Dakar, full swing happening. And, man, this is like one you talk to any professional off-road driver. And it's funny because I'm one of them, right? You talk to anybody, what would you like to do? Everybody goes, I want to go to Dakar. It's not even Baja anymore. I want to go to Dakar. And I got to give credit to Robbie Gordon. He's the one that brought this here. I mean, you had guys like Mark Miller in the past. He was tremendous talent. Man, he's a guy that I'd love to get on the show, and he's kind of fallen off the grid, right? He was a factory driver, went over there for Volkswagen, Red Bull Volkswagen for a while, and he teamed with Ryan Arciero, won a lot of races in Baja. But he went there, represented the Americans well, did really well at Dakar. But he's still Robbie Gordon. When Robbie Gordon goes somewhere, I mean, it brings. He's got such a global fan base. It brings things. He's just got that charisma, and he brought it to Dakar and really brought it to the forefront in the United States and the following. And I mean, globally, Dakar has such a massive, massive footprint. It's just. Us in the United States, it's crazy because you got the two biggest sports in the world. You've got soccer, or football, as they call it in Europe, right? And you've got Formula One. And WRC's in there too, but not like Formula One, right? It's Formula One and soccer, the two biggest things in the entire world, right? But in the United States, they're just afterthoughts, right? Here it's NFL and it's NASCAR. So it's kind of funny the way that works, but like Robbie being the businessman he was, he saw Dakar and he thought, he saw Dakar and the global footprint, and he went and he took his brand global through the Dakar Rally. And like he said, he's like, it's the most important thing I do every year. It's not NASCAR. He's like, Dakar is so much bigger than NASCAR. He's like, but because we live in the United States, we just don't realize how very big it is. So Robbie's one of those, like, I had the opportunity here about a week ago to have about a 40-minute chat with him, and we chat from time to time. But when he talks, I mean, he's not going to tell you to do something, but when he talks, you listen. You take it all in because you love him or hate him. The guy really does have, such a grasp on motorsports and business, and the business surrounding it, and it's just you can take a lot in from a guy like that. So, we are. Looks like Amy chiming back in here. I'm just talking some Dakar Rally, Amy Hood, but I think you're fighting a blizzard. How's that going?
Oh my goodness, it's absolutely insane here. Just a couple days ago, we actually had a blizzard, but. It was on Boxing Day, actually, and it was actually kind of funny because, I mean, for Boxing Day shopping, everyone whines and complains on how crazy it is and no one can get, to the malls or to the stores and go shopping, but it was awesome in Winnipeg because there's only people who had the truck and 4x4 who could even get out of their driveway, never mind make it to the mall. So it was awesome for me. I actually got to get to do some of my Boxing Day shopping because, I have a truck, so...
All right. Well, we're gonna take a short break here, and when we come back, you and I, we got a lot of Supercross to talk about. So all that coming up here after the break.
I'm Polaris rider Levi LaValle, and I choose Polaris just because they have the best quality, highest performing, most fun machines out there.
Only one company has taken Levi LaValle to 10 X Games medals, snowcross championships, a double backflip, and a world record long jump of 412 feet across the San Diego Harbor on New Year's Eve, and that company is Polaris. Whether it's dominating the X Games, racing a stock Polaris RZR XP1000 in the Terracross Championship, or just hitting the trail on the weekend, for over 20 years, Levi has relied on the same quality Polaris vehicles and products you can purchase at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of action sports legend Levi LaValle and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
MTX Audio is the leader in sound. Whether you're looking for high-quality, all-weather motorsports audio products like soundbars, amplifiers, and speakers that will work on any UTV or motorcycle, need to dial in your car or home with high-performance audio solutions, or are looking for a new portable speaker or set of headphones, MTX Audio has what you need to get your project sounding as good as it looks. MTX Audio is a family-owned American manufacturer who has been in business for over 40 years. Check out the full line of products at MTX.com. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, and it is time to talk some 2017 Supercross A1 happening this weekend. And this is the one we've kind of been building up to all year long, Hood. I mean, it seems like Supercross, it's like such a massive thing, but it's such a short season, 4 months long that, I don't know. And then we spend the rest of the year just talking about it, It's
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, A1 is kind of, it's a huge deal, but for me now, obviously, Monster Jam opening round is going to be even bigger deal. But I do have to say that this year, 2017 A1 is going to be a whole different ball game. I mean, there's like the formats change. There's riders with no rides. There's top name champions who aren't even in. We don't even know if both Stewarts are even going to be making an appearance at A1. 250 guys have moved up to 450. I just think it's a big cluster mess, and it's actually going to make for an extremely interesting, obviously, A1, but also the game has changed quite significantly, and I think the sport of Supercross is taking a little bit of a hit this year, and we often talk about the way, like, motorsports comes in waves, and really depending on the economy and the state of the economy, the sponsorship dollars and how many rides are available really is affected by, the sponsors involved. And this year it seems like it's really sad. I mean, there's huge teams that are out, huge riders without rides. And I think, the money that's going around right now in Supercross is just not where it was last year. And I think we're kind of seeing a big decline in that. But it's gonna be insane. I don't even know who to bet on this year. If I had a fantasy Supercross league, it'd be a very bad gamble.
Yeah, well, and that being said, we're gonna talk about riders and stuff like that in a minute. But the big change coming this off season, we're no longer racing laps. We are racing time, kind of like they do in moto and outdoors. I mean, to explain to some of the people, I mean, because I know this is something you thought was a really good idea, but explain to them. I mean, I know main event, so it says like for 450s, it's 20 minutes plus one lap. Kind of explain to people what's going on.
It's always been that way. It's always been that way for the 450s, but the 250s are going to see this big dramatic change where, instead of doing 12 laps or I'm trying to think how many.
It's like 15 laps for everybody, I thought.
It was minute-wise, lap-wise, but it's going to be 15 minutes plus of one lap. And so the reason that the FIM did this change is to actually give fans more to watch, because I guess with the statistics, there was about 14 out of 17 of the races last year that were under 15-minute lap times. One being 17 minutes, which was Daytona Supercross, because, Daytona is always a really gnarly outdoor-style track. But there was numerous, I think 10-plus tracks that were only 11-minute lap times. I mean, that kind of sucks, and it sucks for the fans, and it sucks for, these elite-level athletes who are training their butts off. And, I can't. Let's be honest. For a Supercross rider, only having 11-minute laps versus 16, 17 minutes is a lot. is a lot easier on them. But, to keep everything on the same playing field in a very, a consistent playing field and consistency for the fans as well, they went with having the 15 minutes plus one lap, which I think is a great idea. I think it makes it makes for a better show. Especially in the 250s, it's always it's way more competitive. There's a lot more passing. There's a lot more aggression that kind of goes down. It's not usually just one rider taking the win by storm. So I think it's going to make for a lot better racing, definitely for the fans. So I'm excited for that, for sure.
Yeah, well, I know I was just reading through kind of the press release and the way things work, and it was saying like the 450s, they said, so it's, they could be running 20 laps and, say it's 20 minutes plus one lap. They could have done 20 laps, but say they cross the finish line and there's 5 seconds left of the 20 minutes. They start another lap, and then they get to the finish line and they add another lap. So it may actually at some point add 2 more laps than it normally would have. Or, it's crazy the way this deal works. But as a rider, the endurance, I mean, this is crazy. Like, these guys are going to be on the bike a long time. I mean, I think it's bringing fitness has always been a huge part of Supercross and motocross, but this is really taking it up another level.
I don't agree with you there, Jim, because in motocross and outdoor, which is obviously the most physically demanding sport in the world, voted by Sports Illustrated, beat soccer and everything. I mean, motocross, outdoor professional motocross is extremely physically demanding, and they do 30 minutes plus 2 laps. So these guys are, for those who do both Supercross and motocross, they are trained to race time-wise versus lap-wise. So I think this is a very smart decision in preparation for these guys going from Supercross doing maybe only like 12 laps to, doing timed. So I think this is the smart way to go. And again, to keep it consistent and again, I think consistency kind of prevails all here. And I just think that these guys are like the most physically well-rounded athletes like ever. I mean, if you can race professional Supercross and motocross, I mean, you got to be in these impeccable shape. So I definitely think that they can handle it. And I think this is just one of those extra steps that kind of will set apart the boys from the men, if you will. I think the men are going to really outshine, and people's training is really going to come into play here, and those who have put in the work in the off time are going to prevail, and I like the decision.
Yeah, well, here's the question, too. So even, everything, like from heats to semis to LCQs. So now the LCQ for 450s is 3 minutes plus 1 lap. That seems ridiculously short to me. Like, how does that play into the picture? Because, these guys that's really short. Whole shot is going to be crucial in an LCQ and a semi.
Oh, yeah, totally. And it was kind of like the way they did when they put in all those semis, where before it used to be like, heat 1, heat 2, LCQ, and then they have these semis like last year. And again, it's almost like like dash for cash, if you will. Like, you only got 3-4 laps to put in the works, and depends on what type of what heat you get in. Maybe you're in the heat with like your 4 top competition guys. If you get Roxon and Dungey in the same heat, like, the next 2 guys kind of get the poop end of the stick, if you will. So it's it really comes down to being very flawless and not making any mistakes and being consistent. And that's, it leaves very little room for error. You gotta get a great start. You can't make any mistakes. You can't crash. If you crash, how much time are you going to make up in 2 laps? I mean, it's impossible. So you really have to be on your game, and you really have to ride smart, and consistency is key. So, guys like Ryan Dungey, see you later. He's so consistent. I don't think we ever see Ryan Dungey fall. It's like seeing a blue moon out there. So I think the privateers are going to struggle a little bit, and I think those who have been, like I said, putting in the work in the off season and are going to be the most successful.
Yeah. So here's a question for you. I mean, we've talked about the format and that. Let's talk a little bit about the riders. So obviously we got Dungey. He didn't do so much outdoors. He's back with KTM. I mean, he's the 10,000-pound gorilla. But now you got Roczen with Honda. I mean, we know Roczen is going to be pushing him. And then you got Tomac on Cowie. I mean, he's kind of the flagship rider there. I mean, what are we expecting here, Hood? I mean, we right there between Tomac, Roczen, and Dungey, I think we got three guys that, they're going to battle, and that's not even mixing in guys like Anderson and Chad Reed and, guys that we know can run up front.
I think you're really missing the ball on the two silent sneakers who are moving up. We not only, I think Anderson is going to be a top 3. I think Anderson is going to have more in Supercross for us than Tomac. Tomac is an outdoor rider. I mean, I love the guy, but I think he kind of poops the bed in Supercross, and, Anderson has just always been so dominant in Supercross. But, man, Cooper Webb, Webb's moved up to 450, and he ain't shy. Like, he's got the confidence and the cockiness to definitely put himself on the box every weekend. And I know that he's out for blood, and I know that he wants to beat Ken Roczen, and he wants to win everything. I mean, and that is the confidence that you need going into Supercross. And then we also have Marvin Musquin, who's been, just putting in so much time and effort. And, last year was his rookie year, and I think he definitely came into his own come the end of the season. And I think that Marvin is going to be this silent killer that, he's going to shake up the point system a lot, because I think Marvin can definitely win. Marvin's going to win motos. Cooper Webb is going to win motos. Dungey's going to win motos. And obviously Ken Roczen's going to win motos. So already, and let's not count out Anderson, who's probably going to have a couple in there too, and Tomac. It is going to be such a stacked year that this is definitely going to be anybody's game. But again, coming into A1, that can all change. There can be crashes, there might be injuries, and there might be that, that silent snake that comes through the grass that no one really bet on, that just, something clicked over the off season, and he is just the most dominant out of them all.
Every year there's been that guy. I mean, at one year it was Davey Millsaps. It was Jason Anderson. Like, there's always that one guy. Everybody goes, where did he come from?
I know, exactly. So, but again, with just, the talent in 450 this year, and it's not 2 or 3 guys like it used to be. It's 10 guys. And that's also why, we're looking at all these guys like, Brayton just got onto a ride, but Mookie and James, who don't have a ride, Dean Wilson, who don't have rides, is because the field has grown so much that there's not enough rides to go around. People are not retiring. We still got Chad Reed, who's 35 years old, racing Supercross. Used to be like 20 years old, 25 years old, and you would retire. I think in the last 5 years, how many guys have really retired? Like 3, 4?
Yeah, Villapoto. That's about it.
Yeah, Villapoto, Wyndham, and Andrew Shorts. That's all I can really put my finger on right now.
Kennard retired, correct?
Did he? No, Kennard just went to KTM.
Oh, what am I thinking, man? I'm getting him confused.
Yeah, Kennard and Roczen switched rides. So we also got Kennard in the mix as well, too. Like, the amount of riders, also you get 2, 3, 4 riders come up from 250 every year to 450 class. I mean, it just means, like, the number of rides decreases, but the number of riders increases, and the talent increases, and it's just, we're really, it's really changing the game and changing the dynamics of Supercross, and the money distribution, the sponsorship distribution, and the ride distribution. So it's people are going to really have to fight to earn their place nowadays, and it's going to make for a very cutthroat season, and it's going to be really exciting. I think this is going to be a very different generation of Supercross that we're ever going to see. The riders are getting much younger in 250, and they're getting much more diverse and experienced in 450. So it's going to be really cool.
I completely agree with you. I think it's going to be a year for the books. I think the record books.
I do too. I think 2017 is going to very much change the game of Supercross. People are going to look in and see And I really hope that Malcolm Stewart lines up for Supercross with no ride as a privateer, and someone looks in here and says, wow, you know what? Either a corporate sponsor or, something looks at Supercross and say, we got to get involved. We got to step to the plate. We got to make our mark on here and, help out these privateer incredible athletes who have no ride and maybe paving the way to get to Supercross. And I think that we might see a very big change going into 2018 because of 2017, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think it's going to be one hell of a year. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
We got to take a short commercial break here, and we're going to be back to wrap things up on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning RZR XP1000. R.J. is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris RZRs to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris RZRs RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, wrapping things up on the first Down and Dirty Radio Show of 2017. And big week coming at us. Amy, you are off to Tennessee. Best of luck to you.
Nashville, yep. I can't wait, guys. It's going to be exciting. And then I'm heading to San Diego. I'm going to spend the next couple months there between shows. And, yeah, it's going to be awesome. But you guys have a safe and happy New Year, and I will talk to you guys after Nashville. I'm excited. We'll wrap things up Tuesday. Can you tell you all about my first show?
Yep, can't wait, man. It's going to be one heck of a good time, and couldn't be doing this without all our amazing partners. Got to give a shout-out to Polaris Razor, General Tire, Subaru, Casey Highlights, Gibson Exhaust, Dirtfish, MTX Impact, Terracross, and the Blue Water Resort and Casino. And looking for some discounts, use the code JB Dirtfish for Dirtfish Rally School. And MTX, it's just my last name, Beaver. And be sure and give me a follow. It's at Jim Beaver 15 on Instagram and Twitter. It's just Jim Beaver on Facebook, me, not the actor. Make sure you get the right one. And Amy, it's at Amy Hood 71. Back us to episodes at downanddirtyshow.com. And be sure and rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes to Project Action. It's the brand new podcast. Well, we're about a few months into this thing, but it's the one you should already be subscribing to. And if you haven't, make sure and do that now. You can also get it at podcast1.com or their app or on my website. So a couple of places that's available at, but different content from the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Talk motorsports, action sports, pop culture. We get celebrities in there. It's a ton of fun and good stuff for sure. So thanks to all of you guys for your support. Man, we couldn't do it without you. It's always like fan feedback, so be sure and hit me up if you guys have any questions, guest suggestions, what you think of the show. If you love me, hate me, whatever. I like hitting that fan feedback, so definitely ping me on social media when you give me that follow, right? So thanks to all of you. We'll be back next week. Looks like we got Ryan Turk, Ryan Arciero. Might also have Miss Supercross Juliana Daniel on the line and some event winners. So packed show coming up for you next week. Thanks, and as always, game on.